Jeremy, let's talk a little bit about the shipper side. By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't point out, Jeremy, that as a great entrepreneur who's done a great job of marketing, you have what look like 20 or so copies of your book behind you, Adapt or Die. So tell us a little bit about, couldn't miss that opportunity for you, right? Tell us a little bit about how this played out with shippers and what kind of adaptation was required of them.
Yeah, as Casey was talking, I couldn't help but think of the pictures that came out at the holiday season and just after of the warehouses where it looked like one of those old ball pits from when we were young, and the kid jumps into the ball pit, but it was all packages, and you have these guys that are just, it's mountains of packages around them, and you can't even begin where to start the sorting. But I mean,
it was real.
At the end of the day, right? Shippers trust that the carriers are going to plan properly and prepare. The fantastic e-commerce growth rates have conditioned them now to expect delays. And so they are now doing what I think is the right thing and notifying their customers sooner. I'm sure everyone on this call got at least one notification from some email list that we're on saying, hey, order early, right? So they're trying to take as much into their hands as possible. And I, for one, ordered my Christmas gifts earlier than I ever have this year, being an insider and seeing the writing on the wall. It was probably still late summer when I was starting to place orders. But at the end of the day, they're beholden to whoever owns the assets. And that's, a cyclical, investment. And that, as Casey was saying, those asset investments always lag consumer spending. Investors don't want to put money there until something like a pandemic happens and we see how badly they're needed. Right. So FedEx and UPS have been adapting their networks for years as parcels have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, but the bulk of the ecosystem has not. So that hurts those shippers more than anyone.
So, Jeremy, do you think shippers understood what was happening along the lines of what Casey described, or was this a surprise to them?
No, they absolutely understood. If you think about it, I was saying that the shippers are the ones that are hurt most. Consumers will go elsewhere, right? Consumers have no problem. They judge carriers. They judge, and many times retailers entirely by on-time delivery rates. Our only real touch point with the customer anymore is that delivery service. So if those aren't on time, if they're not as expected, that consumer will just go somewhere else. They might get upset in the meantime. I tell a story in the book. I have a download on the website of this direct-to-consumer company. It's a big name, and the head of customer success is a friend of mine, and the customer success team has no control over the supply chain, no control over fulfillment. They outsource all fulfillment to a 3PL, and that 3PL got way backed up, and so they're trying to think of what can we do to make it up to these customers because their orders are delayed. So they sent out in excess of 10,000 coupons for discounts as much as 50% off the next order. I mean, these are not small coupons, right? And the fascinating thing is, last time I checked in, less than 100 of those coupons were redeemed, which makes us believe that consumers completely abandoned that brand because the shipping times were slow, which is to a large degree out of that brand's control at that time.
Got it. And just building on that theme, so if you were a shipper, how did you react to these challenges? And equally importantly, what happens next time?
You plan better. You use more carriers. You augment with more carriers. I mean, FedEx came out with what I'm calling the success fee, right? You ship too much, you get penalized. You're too successful, you get penalized. We're going to charge you more, right? So there's a market out there for service providers who can mitigate this middle territory, this middle ground, and shippers are out there aggressively looking for them, aggressively looking for ways to better route packages, to more intelligently route packages, and to better communicate with customers so that's more predictable. And those are the things that are within the shipper's control.